no challenge poses a greater threat to future generations than climate change. The Pentagon says that climate change poses immediate risks to our national security. We should act like it. And that's why
you know, if you told me I was watching a spoof of a State of the Union, given everything that's happened in this world in the past month, I might be able to deal with it. Bill Kristol, editor of the Weekly Standard. Bill, welcome back as always. I mean, here's a guy who never uttered the words Al-Qaeda once. And this is what he's telling us: the biggest threat to future generations in this country is global warming, or whatever he called it.
Yeah, please call it climate change. And they come and shut down the show, you know, if you call it global warming. Didn't you get the memo that we're only supposed to call it climate change?
I call it a bunch of garbage. It doesn't matter to me.
I know. I mean, what about nuclear war? Wouldn't that be a little worse than going up, the heat going up a degree and having to make some adjustments? I mean, it really is so ludicrous. You don't even know where to begin. But no, the whole foreign policy part of the speech was such an exercise. The domestic part was just what makes liberalism so depressing these days, buying off different little, groups of the population, the nanny state and all that. But we're kind of used to that, I would say. The foreign policy part was really as if it was just the world, and that's scary. He's the president of the United States. He's going to be president for 2 more years, and now he's just loyal. I mean, he's not dealing with the actual world out there, which is getting increasingly dangerous.
Yeah, well, of course, when Yemen is your cited policy fight against terrorism a success, just as recently as September 10th of 2014, you got problems. I want to ask you about the reports now that the White House is saying that John Boehner breached protocol by, I guess, daring, that's my word, to invite Benjamin Netanyahu to address a joint session of Congress. What's your reaction to that reaction?
Well, it's wonderful. This is the White House whose aides have called Netanyahu various unprintable things to reporters who have treated him disrespectfully, and of course have fought and tangled with him. The Speaker of the House decides to be useful for members of Congress to hear directly from the Israeli Prime Minister at a time of unbelievable tensions in the Middle East, at a time when we had but enemies and common friends, for that matter, common interests, at a time when the Iran negotiations, the administration is just desperate to get a deal. I think it's entirely appropriate for the Speaker to invite him and for the Prime Minister to speak. And if the President wants to invite him to the House, that's fine. And if he doesn't, I'm sure the Prime Minister will find a lot of other people to talk to. I'm sure I'll be happy to host a reception for him, I'm sure all of it. So it's so petty and again childish. If they want to privately say to Boehner, hey, you should give us a heads up, fine. But for the White House press secretary to whine about that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. Let me ask you about where we are here as we, get closer and closer to 2016. Do you think that everybody we're talking about is going to be in it? I mean, do you believe that, Mike Huckabee, who was here yesterday, and Chris Christie, who it appears will be, and Jeb Bush, and, right on down the line, Rand Paul, and all of them, they're all going to be in this field?
No, I think some will go, or will try and run for, explore for 3 or 6 months, and then decide to pull out before the first votes are cast. So we actually get to debates in the fall and voting next in the winter. I suspect that certainly not all of them will be there. Maybe some of them will be there, but sometimes this is very rare for the Republican Party to have no front runner. They're a pretty even playing field, and I think they can each imagine scenarios where they pick up steam and they do well in a debate. Someone else is like compete with them, so spin votes doesn't do well, and so gets out, and suddenly they really have a shot to be the nominee. So I don't blame them for exploring it. It hurts for now. In fact, in a way, I'd like to see more of these guys. I'd like to hear more on foreign policy. I'm very struck by that. And I would actually like to hear the Republican National Committee is busy reducing the number of debates and trying to kind of condense the delays of the campaign. I'd like to see them more, not less. I want to hear what they have to say.
Let me ask you real quick. Right. No, I agree with you. By the way, I like the way he was saying we're bringing Russia to their knees yesterday as they're going into Ukraine at the very moment he's speaking. But quickly, do you agree with Mike Huckabee that Jeb Bush is more conservative than GW?
way in the last few years. He just has sort of a dislike of conservatives and on immigration coming forward. Certainly not where conservatives are. My gut instinct is that Bush is not as strong as people think. Romney, I think, won't be as strong as people think, and I just can't believe the party wants to look backwards. And I think the younger guys, the newer guys, have a real shot.
Bill Kristol, as always, thank you, sir, very, very much. We'll speak to you soon. Folks, when we come back, former House Majority Leader Tom DeLay weighs in on what he heard last night. Don't go away.